Hey guys, we're going to take a look at Havok today. He released, his kit is amazing. I think he's going to impact the game in a lot of ways. I want to talk about him and where I think he's going to play into the game. And I also want to talk about the Crucible season and where I think Starjammers are going to play out and how it's going to affect things. I've got a couple different defense setups for this weekend. Let's take a look at Havok. Now that we've looked at the abilities, let's take a look at his stats. This guy is at 9.4 million HP. He's got almost 600k damage, almost 300k armor. He's 128 speed. This guy has some crazy stats compared to Thanos, who is very, in the meta right now. He's got 3 million more HP, but he's also got 2 more stars and 3 diamonds. He's got barely more damage than this guy, than Havok. He's got 100k more armor. Like, Havok is going to pass Thanos by a ton. He is crazy. So invest in Havok. As far as his ult, he's out of turn pings with increased ping damage if they have barrier. If they attack any Starjammer or X-Men ally, that's going to be Xavier. That's going to be some of our good X-Men. The Starjammers. That's amazing. And if they have barrier, they get disrupt. That's nuts. He's going to play with X-Men or Starjammer, so he's going to meet that requirement, or cannot gain immunity. That's crazy too. Lower damage reduction of all enemies with barrier. That's crazy. All of that works in any game mode. And then in Crucible, he just gets faster. He gets faster for characters with barrier, so he just shuts down barrier counters. It's going to be a very good character. His ult is primary target 400% piercing, apply defense down. On kill, he puts safeguard up for Starjammers and X-Men. X-Men don't have many safeguard options, so that even existing is crazy. Starjammers, they do on some other characters, but it just makes it easier for them to get it. This attack ignores defense up and gains 100% damage to the primary target with barrier, so barrier sucks against this guy. Don't take characters with barrier into this guy. He's gonna protect teams. His special is a turn 2 stun with trauma. It's good too. It's normal damage, which kind of stinks, but it's still a lot of damage. 630% damage to the primary target and 280 to the adjacents. He applies heal block, stun, trauma. That's a good ability, and I think stun trauma is going to be one of the ways that we shut down Xavier, which is why I think he's arena meta. It's a special, which is very important because Xavier has counter text against using ultimates. Xavier also does bad things when he takes turns, so if you stun trauma Xavier, he's not going to take a turn. Xavier doesn't have any prevention mechanics for stun, unlike Odin and Mephisto and Super Scroll, so that's a big deal. And it being on the special is even bigger, so I think he's going to be in the arena meta. If you want to hear more thoughts about my Xavier, why I think this guy is going to be in the arena meta, you can check out my video down in the description. It talks about who I think's in the arena meta, why I think they're in there. Xavier and the 5 other characters I think are for sure arena meta no matter what. I think a lot of the old characters are just out. Check those out. That'll be down in the description. His basic is a chain attack. It puts slow out there. It flips debuffs. His basic is really good, which is why I think he's going to be Striker. The other reason I think he's Striker is the other Starjammer members don't have amazing Striker attacks. They are okay at best. This guy is the Starjammer. Outside of his team, Xavier I don't think is going to be a striker because he has anti-striker mechanics on his basic, but he has a crazy basic. So this guy being striker is probably going to be the play. I could also see him being raider, but I'm doing striker for now. I think that's where he fits best. I think there's plenty of X-Men that like being raiders. There's plenty of Starjammers that are happy being either raider or striker. I think this guy just easily fits striker. If you're running low on purple ISO, just do striker. You're going to feel good about it. I do have some thoughts about war. I'm not going to go into those in this video. I will probably share those in the next war video with Havok. But for today, I will be talking about Crucible. I do think that this weekend we have to run 2 different defensive setups. One will be very offensive heavy with Starjammers to get points for the Crucible season, or if you like running an offensive heavy setup, you can also do that. There are benefits to that. Or you can run a defensive heavy setup, which is generally what I prefer. So it's up to you on which way you want to go, but I do not think you go in the middle. If you go in the middle, then you end up in this situation where you don't have the right counter for the right thing, and someone's trying to do something weird, and you can't counter it. So it's either offensive heavy and you try to have an efficiency battle with your opponent, or it's defensive heavy and you try to collect wins along the way and see if they can solve your puzzle. But both of them, I think, are good. This will be my extremely offensive heavy setup that I expect every room to get run over, but I'm trying to out efficiency them. And we'll start with room 6 and work our way back. Room 6, we're doing Liberty with Dorm. Nothing crazy, but it could be an efficiency sink, which is what we want. Room 5, we are doing the X-Men room. We expect that they'll pull Cabal into that room and Black Cat and kind of run it over, but if they don't and they do something goofy, then they might lose. So we'll go ahead and try that. Room 4, we are doing the Retaliate room just to take efficiency away as best we can. It's, again, nothing crazy. Room 3, we are running Black Knight with Super Scroll and Annihilators. Again, we're just trying to sap efficiency with Retaliates. We're trying to stop the Kahori mirror or the Kahori to come in here if they want to do that. Try to force something a little more taxing. Room 3, we're going to do Orcus plus Spider Society. Nothing crazy, but again, I'm trying to be taxing with having the summon with a pre-taunt. And if something goes wrong with Omega Sentinel, it could tax some efficiency also. And then room 1, we are doing Illuminati with the G20 Odin with the Sasquatch. So Illuminati Odin, Sasquatch, big boy Odin, which we didn't see on the test server footage. So there's a chance Starjammers just loses to that if they try it, which I very much expect they would try Starjammers into this, which leaves their Mephisto to go into like 3 or their Omega Red. Like, I don't expect any of these rooms to hold up. All I'm trying to do is out efficiency them and win every round. I plan to not drop an attack with running Mephisto on offense and running Omega Red on offense and running Starjammers. Like, with running those 3 pieces, like, I don't expect to drop a room. Then I also have Immortal and I have Cabal. Like, I've got plenty. And I will be running this for 1 round just to get the Starjammers attacks in. This will be my defensive setup. I will not be using this until after you get my Starjammer points, but once I do, I will be switching to it. My first room is Liberty with Thanos. It's nothing crazy. It's probably the worst of my rooms. My next room that I will be using is Odin Scroll with Spider Society. I do think Starjammers will run this over, but I think I'm okay with it. I think it's forcing Starjammers in the 6, and I'm okay with that because it opens up opportunities in other rooms. My next room is 2-piece Starjammers with 2-piece X-Men and Gladiator. This plays into Lilandra and Gladiator's passive of stopping vulnerables. And who loves to come into X-Men rooms right now is Cabal. It's Cabal with Black Cat. And I think if you bring Cabal Black Cat in here, it loses. So we will see how that does. My next room is Kahori, the Duck, and 2-piece Orcus. The reason I'm doing this room is for the double taunt to protect Kahori as best I can, and then I'm running 2-piece Orcus, which I think may get to go off because Duck and Kahori kind of protect some of the other stuff that's going on. So it makes it hard to Kahori this room. I don't think you can Night Stalkers this room. I think it's going to create a situation where they have to put some resources into it, which is what I want. We'll see how it does, and I think it might even have the opportunity that maybe the Sentinel gets to go off, and if the Sentinel goes off, then all of a sudden the room gets pretty difficult. Room 2 is Mephisto with a Nightcrawler to speed things up, and Shadow King Emma I've equipped G20 on, so she's got extra stats in this beefy, and then Noir's in there to trigger the Shadow King effect again and go off fast. So this room I don't think is super crazy, but I think it's good enough that it's going to pull something big. And as you can kind of tell, I'm trying to spread out how many tools they can take in the rooms. We'll see if they've got too much on offense for me to make this work, but I'm trying. And then the last room is Illuminati. I'm running Illuminati with Groot. I think Groot will help with dealing with Omega Red comps. I don't think it's over the top crazy, but I think it's good enough. And I'm also running the Dorman there for the revive, just to force them to use that, a bigger thing in there than just like a S6 that runs it over. And with Liberty being on defense also, I think S6 is going to be split between 1 and 4. So hopefully between that will help pull something big also. And the other thing, pulling my, Odin out of the Illuminati room, they now want to stop assists in 2 different rooms, which forces them to be back on the Echo plan. And Echo is still a hard character to use and not have die. So last couple things I want to bring up in this video is this will be the first Crucible that we have G20 uniques active in the Crucible. So be careful. We may see some huge characters, specifically like Odin and Mephisto. There could be others too if people have already picked out characters that they want to take into the Xavier trial. I haven't pulled the trigger on anyone but Havok and Odin myself. On the screen you can see the ISO selection that I will be using with the full team. I will be doing this on the first round and using them as an offensive team. And also I'd like to ask that if you like this type of video, you like seeing my defensive setups and thoughts, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think.